I can tell you about July the 3rd and July the 4th on Hill 131 and Hill 95. We got the order of 1st Battalion to move on the morning of the 3rd, to move to the foot of the hill 131 and to hold it regardless of cost to the last man, because the 2nd and 3rd Battalion was going to go through there at 0600 hours on the morning of 4th of July. In a rifle company in the 508 in World War II, and in any airborne regiment in World War II, you had A Company, B Company, C Company, and Headquarters Company, 4 companies. The Headquarters Company being the heavy weapons company, you know. They had A Company and B Company on line at the foot of Hill 131, C Company in reserve. Now, I'm going to give you an idea of just how many casualties we lost. C Company, a rifle company, was 198 people, right? You've heard of First Sergeant Leonard Funk. He was a first sergeant in that company, a Medal of Honor winner, right? He had 37 men. So he is in reserve with 37 men. That's all he had. So they had A and B Company on line, and A and B Company had the machine gun platoon, my platoon attached to them, and the 81 mortar platoon supporting them, you know. I went back before it got dark, and First Sergeant Leonard Funk gave us boxes of ammunition, grenades to take up there in case the Germans had a final assault on us. And they had this grenade called a Gammon grenade. It's a British grenade. Looked like about the size of a softball. Had a black sock around it. Had a cap on it. And you unscrew the cap, and I could throw it from here to you. And if you was a tank, all the pressure would go nothing would hurt me from this point. So I took a lot of those, and it started to rain about midnight. Now we're on the 4th of July, the morning of the 4th of July, or after midnight. And the propaganda people had put up at the foot of Hill 131 loudspeakers telling us that we were surrounded and that for us to surrender, and we have nice white sheets and beds to sleep in and good chow and this and that and what have you. That blasted all night, you know, and then they brought in the machine guns that started firing at 2 o'clock in the morning, and they knocked out one of my heavy machine guns. My platoon that I was attached to, A Company, was, let's see, First Lieutenant. Anyway, I told him, sir, hold up, tell your people they're not too far. I'm going to take some grenades and Gammon grenades, and I'm going out there and see if I can't knock that machine gun out, you know. So he did. So I went out there at 2 o'clock in the morning, 500 yards, I guess, out there to the foot of that hill. I did. I knocked the machine gun out. I come back, you know, and the lieutenant, he wasn't in my company, you know. He put me in for the Silver Star, and I got the Silver Star for knocking out the. Someone said, "Rock, how many Germans was on that machine gun?" I didn't stop to count them. I crawled on my belly for 500 yards because they were firing all the time. I don't know. You know, it was probably a stupid thing to do, but I didn't know whether he's going to start counterattacking us or not, and whether we could hold that line to the last person or not. We didn't. We had 37 men reserve is all we had, you know. So anyway, well, that platoon leader was named Lieutenant Lamb, George Lamb, A Company platoon leader, you know. Finest platoon leader I ever met in the Army. DSC, you know, Battle of the Bulge, he done a heroic action, got the DSC for him, you know. But anyway, I told you it was raining, it was cold, and that loudspeaker up on a tree, I guess it was, and what heck. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, the loudspeaker didn't sound no more, and there was no more machine guns after I threw them 2 Gammon grenades. And a Gammon grenade is made out of C2 composition, and I could say It's a little bit bigger than a baseball. And I was probably 25 feet, something like that, you know. And when I throwed the second one, it went off. I didn't move or nothing, I just sat there, laid there for maybe 5 minutes before I turned around. But yeah, I tell you, I didn't crawl back. I walked back to the line. So I don't know uh, if it helped or not. I suppose it did. But anyway, it's 6 o'clock in the morning, next morning, that morning. Here in comes Second, Third Battalion. They lined up. Second Battalion lined up behind my battalion. This little platoon sergeant had a Thompson submachine gun and smoking a cigar. And he come up there and he said, he looked up, he looked at his watch and he said, "All right, it's 1 minute till 6. And in exactly 1 minute, I'm going over this hedge row, and I want to see every one of you SOBs right behind me. And so that was 6. At 10 o'clock, the 1st Battalion, we moved up. 2nd and 3rd Battalion took Hill 131 by 10 o'clock. And we moved up there, and they moved up going on towards the base of Hill 95 to take it. But I seen this little platoon sergeant when I got up there, and I said, "Well, sorry, I see you made it." And he said, "Yeah," and he had a new cigar, and he said, "The Germans smoke pretty good cigars, what have you." So anyway, I don't recall where the 1st Battalion, we stayed there and secured that hill, and the 2nd Battalion, 508, got orders to take Hill 95. They lost 2 lieutenant colonels within 3 hours of that battalion. The last commander was a captain. It's the lowest ranking man they had. Chet Graham, after the 2 colonels had knocked out, I think they had to take that hill sometime around, I don't know, 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. And now you got a captain commanding the battalion with a couple of hours to plan the attack. So he got the S3 order down to the route he's supposed to take. He disagreed with it. He sent his captain, company commanders out, and they wanted to go another route to save lives and what have you and take it. The rumor said, it's not rumor, it's what Ted Graham wrote and told me, that Roy Lindquist, the commander, said, "No, you'll comply with the order. Attack the way S3 told you." Well, he didn't. He attacked the way his company commander had reconnoitered the area, and he took the hill, they say, with the least amount of casualties. But since he disobeyed the order from a bird colonel in combat, he was relieved of his command. Now, General Gammon, I understand, was on that hill right after it was taken, and he commended Chet Graham for taking it, with the least amount of casualties. But I can see General Gammon could not overrule Colonel Lindquist's order because, you just don't disobey a superior officer in combat, Although he done the right thing, he lost the war, or what the old saying goes, And after they took 95, then the regiment, I think we were attacking from one town to one hill and one crossroads right after another,